Hey guys, I just finished the videos and I truly did enjoy them. I thought they were both pretty interesting. If you've been in psychology, any type of psychology class, I feel like we've all seen Jane Elliott and her third graders and her experiment in Brown versus Blue Eyed. It's been quite a few years since I've seen it, but I really did. I always thought it was pretty cool. I do think her methods are a little bit harsh. Like, I guess it's hard because, she did get her point across and she was able to take these children and put them in somebody else's shoes and, feel what other people who truly have faced discrimination feel on a daily basis. And I mean, you never want anybody to feel that way. And I guess I'm fortunate where I grew up in a generation that didn't experience as much racism, but I mean, it was still there. I mean, I remember having issues of racism when I was in, first pre-K and first grade, and I was in an area that actually had a lot of African American people. So I grew up with what's the word, with multiple ethnicities. So I mean, it was never really that huge of an issue. I did experience racism against myself before. I mean, I've always been taught from a young age to that everybody should be treated the same. I mean, it never really was even a thought in my head until I experienced racism against myself for the first time. But, it's harsh for her to sit there and say those things to, a 9, 10-year-old, 9-year-old. And, you almost you want to think that it's cruel, but, I mean, she did get her point across. And I think that's pretty awesome that all the parents and the school board seemed to support it, because it did, it gave results. It took people out of their own perception for once and let them really see things from somebody else's eyes and what they go through on a daily basis. The second video I enjoyed a little bit more because, in some ways Mr. K talked to the students as if they were adults, but at the same time, it was for good reason. I mean, some of these issues, you're like, wow, like dealing with death, like, it's sad that a child at their age would have to experience it, but it's true. It happens every single day. Bullying happens every single day. I just read an article about a 10-year-old boy who just committed suicide, and it's horrible. Like, it is horrible. And most of these teachers and the school boards, you go and talk to them and say, oh, yeah, we'll address it, and it doesn't stop. 9 times out of 10, it doesn't stop, and it won't stop. And to teach kids what it feels like, to really hold them accountable for their actions before it ever gets to that point where somebody feels that low about themselves, I think that that's pretty awesome. And if you could teach children at that young of an age to build up that type of respect level and trust, I mean, that's pretty amazing. I mean, I would love to see my daughter grow up to be that way and to feel, that much respect for her peers and have her peers feel that much respect for her and, for her to confide in them if something does go wrong. It's an amazing thing to see such a positive and strong social system. Nowadays, we tend to just really look at, school and grades and, that aspects, but we really need to also start preparing children to deal with the everyday struggles of life. And I think if we do and we focus on that, I think we're going to get a lot more positive results.